I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
That ball is history! A walk-off home run!
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge.
What's up, Danger? Can't stop me now.
Welcome into Extra Innings with Pledger here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I am James Pledger. Thank you for joining me, however you may be joining me, whether that's 94.1 on your FM dial, if you happen to be locked in live, listening to sasportstar.com via the AA Best Bail Bonds audio player, or if you're watching on YouTube, that's right, we stream all of our shows live on YouTube, whether that's the Morning Huddle, the Blitz, or right here on Extra Innings with Pledger. All you got to do is go to YouTube, search SA Sports Star, go ahead and like and subscribe while you're there. Set the notifications for when we do go live. You can comment along with the show as it happens, or you can always feel free to call in the old-fashioned way at 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. If you want to be a part of the conversation, always love when y'all jump in with me. And it's a lot to get into today. One of the big things, and I see it already, Antonio Moreno asking me if I got my stocked up on my water and my toilet paper. I don't think so. I might have to buy some on the way home. So pray for me. But how bad is it going to be this weekend? We just don't know. Well, some of us don't, but others are more informed than the rest of us. So we went straight to the source. Earlier in the week on the Blitz, they had him on, Bill Taylor, chief meteorologist for KENS 5. Well, he told us on Wednesday, models change, things happen as the week progresses. So Bill Taylor came back on to discuss with us earlier today exactly what we need to expect, prepare for, and how bad this is going to be using 2021 as a barometer.
The other day, Bill Taylor from KENS TV, the chief meteorologist, was on with us to give us an idea of what to expect. And he kept saying, the models are going to change. Friday we'll have a better idea. So it's Friday. Bill Taylor joining us on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Are the models saying anything different today than they were on Wednesday, my friend?
How are you, my brother? You know what? Not much of a change, Jason. We saw some of this colder air slow down on its move to South Texas. I think the only change is really going to be for North Texas. And I think about some of the folks listening right now who have loved ones and good friends that live in Dallas and Fort Worth. You're going to probably see a significant ice storm up across North Texas. For us, the story really hasn't changed much. The timing is still about the same, with freezing temperatures coming in about 7 or 8 p.m. Saturday. But overnight tonight, some pretty heavy rain. Now, temperatures will be way too warm in order for any of that to freeze. This will come down as heavy rain, thunderstorms at about 3 or 4 in the morning, and then that sweeps through. This will be a line associated with the cold front as that pushes through before the sun is up on Saturday. And then once we get into Saturday itself, that's when we're going to start seeing temperatures drop. This wave of rain will move through, I would say it's east of us by 8 a.m. at the latest tomorrow morning, and probably puts down about an inch of rain, which will be great. But as soon as we get to about, say, 10 a.m., we're going to start dropping into the 30s, and we're going down from there. And I would expect more rain to develop in the afternoon, and the sleet is probably going to be confined to the hill country at about 2, maybe 3 p.m. at the latest. We could see it around noon hour, maybe even mid-morning up around the hill country, but we're not expecting any problems up there until probably the afternoon or evening. And again, that's still just the hill country where we have a winter storm warning. But the temperatures here, as far as freezing, that should hold off until probably about 10, 11 p.m. And that's great because, we'll still have some moisture to deal with, but most people should be home, hopefully, and off the roads. I know there'll still be some that, are closing down the bars
Yep.
at 2 a.m.
Yep.
And that's going to be the biggest problem spot, Jason. I'm telling you, at like 2, 3 in the morning, that's when we should be seeing some of this sleet and even freezing rain and maybe a little bit of icing on the overpasses. And then the moisture's out. As scheduled, that has not changed. I would say by 8, maybe 9 a.m. Sunday, the moisture's east of us. The cold is here to stay till Tuesday or Wednesday, but we get this moisture out of our way by, I would say, like I say, 8, 9 a.m. Sunday.
Bill Taylor from Ken's TV joining us here on The Blitz. So Sunday morning, early church services could be in jeopardy. I was talking to a friend of mine that, well, he owns up Mellow Mushroom earlier today. We went and had a, pregame pie, if you will. And, he was trying to figure out, is he going to close early on Saturday or open late on Sunday? One, customers, but two, for his employees being on the roads driving in this. When do you think, especially Sunday morning, driving will be fine?
I would say by mid-morning, because like you just said, everybody's trying to make decisions. I'm on the part-time staff as a pastor at Gateway Fellowship, and what we're doing, we're canceling our 8:30 service, and we're just going to have our 10 and 11:30. And our 10 a.m. is streamed on Facebook, on YouTube. And so, we're concerned about it two ways, right? Is that, number one, getting everybody to the church for service, but then how many people are actually going to go out and come to church, right?
Yep.
And so same type situation where I just don't see us getting on the roads until mid-morning at the earliest on Sunday, where we can safely be out there. It's still going to be bitterly cold, as temperatures will stay in the probably freezing realm until about midday. I think by about 12, maybe 1, 2 p.m. Sunday, we get above 32, on our way to a high of about 38 or 39 on Sunday, hopefully. And that's a long shot. We're definitely going to stay in the 30s. I'm shooting for 38. And then on Monday morning, Tuesday morning, we're in the low to mid 20s. I mean, it's going to be really cold nights. So prepare now. You still have several hours this afternoon to make sure exterior pipes are wrapped. Make sure you've got pets taken care of. Check on your elderly loved ones. Check on getting a coat to 5-Star Cleaners or Santico's Movie Theater. We've got our coat drive going, and we're going to be getting coats out all weekend long to the homeless. We've got over 3,000 homeless in this city, Jason, and we've got to remember them too.
Absolutely. Bill, when you think about, this weekend, and by all accounts, Monday morning, while it's going to be ridiculously cold, getting to work, getting to school for the kiddos, that should be fine. Other than just miserably cold, road should not be an issue getting to work on Monday.
Not at all. Not at all. I think the only issue we could have, Jason, is going to be like heating the schools. Sometimes we've seen that in the past where some heating systems have failed. That could be an issue if that happens, but precipitation is going to be gone for 24 hours by the time we get to Monday morning. So everything will be dry. When I talk about that overnight rain tonight, it's going to be upwards of 1 inch to 1.25 inches. The good news is with the higher winds on Saturday and Sunday, that helps dry things out too. You don't need sunshine as much as those winds can really help. And that's going to be key. And so with those kind of wind speeds we're expecting on Saturday, and then the wind chills, oh my gosh, on Sunday morning, we're going to feel like about 10 or 11 in the city. Yeah, it's going to be single digits in the hill country on wind chill factors. It's going to be brutal.
All right, Bill. So this is, it's championship weekend in the NFL, but weather events like this, it's like the Bill Taylor Super Bowl, man. Your barometer's rising. Everything's exciting. You're ready to rock and roll. Are you spending all weekend there at 5400 Fredericksburg Road? You're going to go home? You're going round the clock? What's the weather plan for Ken's TV?
Well, the plan, I'm going to be able to go home tonight. We got the thunderstorms overnight, and we'll be okay there. But come Saturday, that's when we're going to be in full team coverage. We're going to have the entire weather team here hitting our digital platform as well as on air. We have a 5, 6, and 10 p.m. newscast. Our 10 p.m. is an hour long. And so we plan on probably 12 to 13-hour shifts each so that we're handing it, off to each other in the overnight. Paul Morellis and Roxy Van Ruten will be taking
Wait, you're going to let somebody else get on and steal some of the glory? Come on, Bill.
Steal some of it. I got to hand it off a little bit, right? Like, I got to get enough, so yeah, I'll get my full on Saturday and Saturday night mainly. But yeah, by probably about 2 a.m. is when I'll head home on Sunday morning. And Paul and Roxy will take it from there for Sunday morning coverage.
See, and that's what you need to know. If Bill's willing to drive on this, then you're good to go. It's kind of how I feel about a pilot. When the pilot doesn't want to take off, then I'm good because I know that guy wants to land and go home. If Bill is safe to drive home, it's okay.
That's a great way to gauge it, man. It really is. And we do have rooms reserved in the area just in case, but I don't think I'm going to need them. I think I'll be able to safely drive home at 2 in the morning. I think the main hazard is going to be the bridges and overpasses. If you're driving on Sunday morning, I know a lot of people still work, even though most people are hopefully home. You've got to stay on road surface. You don't stay off bridges, stay off overpasses. That's where we'll see icing. But the city's doing a phenomenal job today. We've got our team out showing you today at 4, 5, 6, and 10 what preparations are in place, and they're getting that de-icing agent down on a lot of our overpasses. And as you know, all our big flyovers are now open. So this is going to be the first winter weather test on those. And so they're getting those agents down on the surface and hopefully in good place.
That was Bill Taylor earlier today on the Blitz. Ken's 5's chief meteorologist Joshua Jimenez saying he didn't get why people are overreacting to these freezes, but that's San Antonio for you. Look, it's not an overreaction. It's a precaution, more so than anything. Now, everybody buying as much water and toilet paper as they can, acting like we're not going to have the ability to get back on the road in 3 days, that's a bit of an overreaction. But more than anything, these are precautions to make sure that everybody stays safe. And you heard it from Bill's mouth right there. He's going home probably Sunday morning at 2 a.m. So if he thinks he's going to be good to drive, it's probably going to be okay. But we do know, as hearing from him earlier, weather patterns change. So stay tuned before you make any decisions. Check your news, check your weather apps, check with Bill Taylor on Ken's 5, and make sure that everything is okay and clear, and be safe out on the roads this weekend. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 941 FM, sasportstar.com. Coming up, we all have an idea of what the Super Bowl will be. Paul Aguilera says Rams Broncos Super Bowl, possibly. Maybe. We'll look if the Broncos have any chance of coming out of the AFC. Coming up here on San Antonio Sports Star, this is Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Monday on the Morning Huddle, back from championship weekend, we have a Super Bowl set, Rob.
Thaw your ice out, get your stuff ready. It is on the way. Super Bowl around the bend. We'll talk about how we're getting there. And, oh, by the way, the Spurs had a game or two as well. Get here early, thaw out. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-611-2046. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-611-2046. That's 800-611-2046. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The new era of UFC on Paramount Plus comes out swinging. Highlight machine Justin Gaethje collides with Paddy the Baddy Pimblett in a must-see high-octane main event. Plus, Sean Sugar O'Malley faces off against Song Yadong in a stand-up war filled with high-level striking. Pay-per-view just got knocked out. Stream UFC 324 live on January 24th, only on Paramount Plus. Visit ParamountPlus.com/UFC to get started. Song Yadong. Song Yadong.
Sorry, Jim, I missed that. What was it again?
Song Yadong.
It is probably not anything close to what I think it is, but it is still funny when you hear it read by the one and only Jim Rome.
Song Yadong.
I'm sorry, I'll keep it together. Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pledger here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I am James Pledger. Appreciate y'all rolling with me tonight as we take you up till 7 o'clock. Remember, wrap your pipes, stay safe this weekend. And that goes for dripping your faucets, bringing the pets in, all that good stuff. Just make sure to take care and be safe this weekend. We want to see you back here on Monday when we take the air again. So, can't wait for that. Now, earlier in the chat, Paul said, Rams Broncos Super Bowl possibly. Well, let's take a look at the AFC side of things because not many people are giving the Denver Broncos a chance when it comes to making the Super Bowl, largely in part to the fact that their second-year quarterback, Bo Nix, broke his ankle on the second-to-last play of the game or thereabouts in the win over the Bills and was immediately had surgery and is done for the year, which means they are now turning to, that is right, you guessed it, Jarrett Stidham to take the reins and lead them to a Super Bowl. They're at home. They still have a great defense, and they're going against the up-and-coming team in the AFC who is fighting for first place all year long. The New England Patriots, as Mike Vrabel has helped to put his stamp and turn this thing around with the phenomenal play of Drake May, who has landed himself in the MVP finalist conversation. Although I do think that will end up going to Matthew Stafford at the end of the year. But everybody seems to be writing off the Denver Broncos. What about the morning huddle? Do they give Denver any chance at making a Super Bowl? Well, Rob and AJ were talking about it this morning.
I have real concern about this Patriots offense just because this is not, I mean, I get it. They played the Texans defense and the Texans defense is elite. But
how likely is it for them to go play a complete football game, the New England offense, especially their running backs, without fumbling the ball against a team like Denver? What's the likelihood that they don't fumble at all?
Oh, I almost none.
Almost none, you feel like, right?
Yeah.
So while I have serious questions about the Denver quarterback situation, I also know that they know how to win the game without their quarterback, like you keep talking about. And they are going against an offense that's more than willing to give you the ball.
Yeah.
And so I do think that there's a lot of concern because New England, really, knowing you're going against Stidham, knowing you probably don't need to score more than 21 points on your offense.
Yeah.
But you got a problem. You're going to have to find one of those two running backs is going to have to prove to you that you can trust him. And if you can find out early, I think you might get out safe. But I guarantee you, I see 3 turnovers in New England's offense. I think they're going to have to dare greatly. I think they're going to have to.
I
just to get the 21.
I do think the Patriots have shown, and they showed last week against the best defense they've seen all season long. Ramondre Stevenson ran for 4.5 yards per carry. You know, he didn't break off some. I think he did break off one long one, but like for the most part, he's the guy they trust.
Well, they're
dangerous.
starting to, because the first half of the season he couldn't stay on the field because he kept putting the ball on the floor.
Yeah. But I do think he's their guy. The veteran is their guy. I'm more worried about Drake May, who Drake May has put the ball on the ground 6 times in the last 2 games.
So that
6 times.
All of that, and yes, we give credit to the Houston defense in the rain. It was a tough place, but this isn't the first time he's done this. So as much as I have a problem with Stidham, because I just think that it's a 0. They're starting at 0. They're not starting at +1.
No,
they're starting at 0. You know, as long as Vrabel can control his quarterback in that, don't let him get scared, but at the same time, don't make a stupid mistake, dude. You don't have to do much today. But that's not in Drake's makeup, man. I just feel like the more you try to hold him back, the more he's going to kick against it and try to do something nuts, because that's just how he is. And I love that about him. But on the road, just do enough.
Yeah.
You know, don't do anything more than your job. And do you think that's in Drake May's psyche?
No.
Yeah. And that's because that's what has made him what he is, MVP candidate in the second year, because just doing enough ain't me, man. Well, when you do more, look what we get last week. You know, when you're doing more than you should, that's when we get in trouble. That's a hard thing to moderate.
Yeah. And on the other side, you know, like I said, you're almost certain that that the Broncos are going to ask Stidham to do more than a typical team would ask their, like normally a team loses their starter, it's run heavy offense, like
bubble screen, flat passes, lots of tight ends in the game to protect your backside.
Sean Payton's not going to do that. And that's why I think Sean Payton wouldn't have Jarrett Stidham there if he didn't think Stidham is capable.
I qualify this as I do think Sean Payton is a witch, and he has finally cracked the code as finding quarterbacks to just do your job. And I don't need to draft Superman. I just need every man. And if you'll just do that, we'll be great. He's done it. So no coach is more prepared to do it with Stidham than Payton is. So I'll give you all the X's and O's, and I'll give you everything else. And if this was the first playoff game, the wild card game, I'd feel a little bit better. But we're at the pinnacle. This is the peak. Things have gone to 11. They're going to reach 12, and you're going to step in off the street, basically. I know he's ready. I don't think it's a matter of like preparation. He seems to be the kind of guy that I honestly believe prepares for every game like he's going to start, because it's Bo Nix. He might. But at the end of the day, I just can't get past it. I'm trying to find reasons to move past it. And the 5 points to me seems way too much.
But you just don't think they can win.
I just don't think they can win.
Yeah.
I just don't know how they're going to get through it. And there's going to be, if they do win, again, the gold jacket awaits and the superstar that gets through there, it's going to be something else, because the deck is stacked.
Josh McDaniels knows Jarrett Stidham very well. Remember, Jarrett Stidham started his career in New England. He was a New England draft pick.
He said, yeah, he's only had 2 OCs his whole life.
And then Jarrett Stidham also was the Raiders' backup quarterback and actually had some starts with the Raiders when Josh McDaniels was a coach of the Raiders. So the opposite OC knows what Stidham is and isn't capable of. And I mean, I was reading, McDaniels isn't going to say anything negative about him, obviously. He's like, oh, he's a great kid, smart, accurate passer, all the things that you say about good backup quarterbacks, hard worker, great teammate, blah, blah, blah. Just hadn't had the right opportunity, you know. But the one thing I will take away from that is Josh McDaniels also saw enough in Jarrett Stidham to draft him in the 4th round. And so
hey, man, it's a Texas kid. Stephenville, I mean, local.
I think he's generally a pretty respected player, as a backup.
It's not that I hate him; it's the situation he's in. It's just I can't imagine finding anything other than difficulty. You know, I just don't see success coming. Like I don't, because he doesn't have the kind of game where you go, well, he's got a cannon. No. Or he runs a 4-1, so let's get him around a corner. He doesn't come with that kind of specialty. He comes with a game management kind of tempo, which is probably ideal. But
so the total in this game is 42.5.
Which probably, that sounds right there, man.
It sure feels to me like if a team gets to 20, they're winning this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I do get to 21st, I'm worried.
Because and part of me says, well, the scary thing about playing under on this game is the real possibility of turnovers, because both these quarterbacks I could see turning the ball over. And if that is to happen, depending on where turnovers happen, it can be an underkiller.
The funny thing is, I see May turning it over more than Stidham. I don't think it's about turnovers. I just think it's about stagnation. I think you're going to be so desperate to try to get the ball. It's a field possession game. We're going to win it with a couple of field goals. So I don't mind a bunch of 4-and-outs, but let's play the field game and keep moving them inch back. And eventually make this Drake May gunslinger make a mistake, and let's kick a field goal or two. That's my strategy. I'm digging in. I'm protecting the 30-yard line on both sides, and you're going to play in that middle field. And hopefully at some point you're going to make a turnover, and I got 2 plays waiting on you that I know are going to work. And when I get the chance, I'm going to run them.
The one thing I think is a place where the Broncos can have some success is with their tight ends. The Patriots are not good against tight ends, haven't really been all year. I thought last week Dalton Schultz was one of the best matchup problems for them, and Dalton Schultz had 50 yards in like the first 2 drives that he played, then he got hurt. But I think Evan Ingram, Adam Troutman, both these guys could have big games.
Well, they're going to need him in just to protect him. You know what I mean? So
Cortland Sutton's probably going to be taken away. I would imagine Cortland Sutton and Christian Gonzalez cancel each other out. So it's going to have
10
to be
yards out the field. I think
it's going to have to be the Marvin Mims show on some quick stuff, and it's going to have to be tight ends.
If you're Vrabel, are you sending guys after him, or are you just I'm going to wait for him to make a mistake?
I don't think you blitz. I mean, this is a very accurate dude, and like I said, this is a Sean Payton quarterback. What is Sean Payton? Sean Payton has never had guys who were like overly physically blessed. He's got quick processors.
No, I agree. And a rag arm.
And typically quick processors are the guys you don't really want to blitz.
No, that's what I'm saying. You don't. If I'm not blitzing, am I just going to get everybody in coverage and just wait for you to try something that you're not good at?
And it does help that I really think both these coaches are fully aware. Vrabel's aware and Payton is aware that the Broncos aren't running the football.
Yeah.
And I think the Broncos know they can't run it against the Patriots, and I think the Patriots know the Broncos don't care.
Boy, that's a tough recipe to survive.
It is. It is. But
can't
I guess
run, and it's the first game in 2 years against a defense that will attack. I mean, they're going to give you a chance. I think the defense is going to take a risk. I think they're going to try to turn him over. They're going to have to.
Yeah. Now I find this, it's not sexy,
no,
the matchup. But I find it a little fascinating.
It's probably, as far as the storyline's more intriguing than the night game, because we know what we're getting in the night game.
Yeah.
Man on man, 1 versus 2, even Steven. We know exactly what both teams are going to try to do. They've both been successful doing it in different times. The first game, who knows?
It's very interesting. Look, and a lot of people in the chat talking about anything can happen any given Sunday. We've seen it before. Hostetler, Foles, et cetera, et cetera. I get it. We've seen it before, and it's not out of the realm of possibility. But if you're asking me to put money on this game, my money is going to lean towards the Patriots. I feel more comfortable with that team in its entirety and the way it's constructed to be able to win. That's exactly where I stand on that matchup. It's nothing against Denver, but you lost your quarterback. And I think you're a good team. That is a catastrophic loss for a very good team that is reliant on how well its defense has played through most of the year. That's all I'm saying. New England also has a good defense and also has a good run game with Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson. And as a matter of fact, I think their special teams are even better with the return game and Borealis on the kicking. That's personal preference. They tick more boxes. They have the advantage at the most important position, and everything else is close enough. That's kind of how I lean when it comes to the NFC side of things. I lean Los Angeles Rams because they are so close everywhere. I give the edge in defense to the Seattle Seahawks. I give the edge in special teams to the Los Angeles Rams. I give the edge in offensive line to the Rams. I give the edge to the quarterback to the Rams because Matt Stafford versus Sam Darnold. And that's kind of the biggest gap there is for me, as well as he's played. I give the advantage as a whole, as a unit, to the Rams receiving core. But if you're just talking about the best receiver on the field that day, it's going to be Jackson Smith and Jigba. That's just, he's the best player. He's the best receiver. But they've got Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua and Colby Parkinson. And, they've got weapons, more weapons, in my opinion. And I think they have, while the running games are similar but different, I am more of a fan of Kyron Williams and Blake Corum than I am of Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker III. Although, if this is going to be a running game and you are going to get physical and just run downhill, give me those two backs because they are more power backs than are Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com, and on YouTube at SA Sports Star. Appreciate all y'all for riding along. Eagle fan said, all that being said, I think the NFC team is going to hammer the AFC team in the Super Bowl. In a lot of ways, I do feel like Seahawks-Rams is our Super Bowl matchup. I feel like that's going to be the best game of these next three games. And that's fair. What about the Dallas Cowboys? Will they have any chance to make it to this level next year with the addition of Christian Parker as their new defensive coordinator, and with word that Aaron Whitecotton is interviewing for a defensive coordinator job in Tennessee on Robert Saleh's staff, where there is a mutual connection, as Whitecotton was on Saleh's staff when he was with the Jets in New York. And is there anything they're doing to prepare for potential replacement for Whitecotton, who could be moving on to greener pastures? Well, we brought in Todd Archer of ESPN to talk about what's going on in Dallas and how quickly Christian Parker can get this thing turned around. That's all coming up here on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
I didn't want to call Bobo and have to have a confrontational.
Just make a change?
Yeah, because you're so bitchy.
We do it all the time.
You're so bitchy, Bobo.
You always want to
Do you realize how bitchy you are? And I don't want to fight with you.
You know, you calling me bitchy would be like me calling you a fat bastard. You know, that's projection, dude.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Listen to the John Clay Wolf Show, Saturday morning at 8 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying two phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
The football playoffs are here, and you know Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. Jason Minix here from The Blitz. Look, as a Cowboy fan, I've got to find these games more exciting and entertaining, and I can do that with Underdog. Make your picks and win money right now in Texas. And it's easy. You take your favorite player stats and decide higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, rushing yards, that sort of thing. Get your picks right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. So what are you waiting for? Download the Underdog app today. Use promo code STAR to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code STAR at Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Texas. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Let me ask you a question. Is your roof ready for anything? Well, Stevens Roofing, a locally owned company, has been serving our community for decades. Whether it's a commercial project or residential, or repairing your old roof, or maybe installing a new one, they've got you covered. And now Stevens offers solar. Stevens Solar Solutions can save you money and energy. Stevens Roofing, quality craftsmanship, solar solutions, and local expertise under one roof. Call 210-785-0994 or go to stevensroofing.net.
This is Andrew Monaco, and the Aggies play here. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pledger here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I am James Pledger. Appreciate y'all rolling with me as we take you up till 7 o'clock. The Dallas Cowboys, they've got their new man, defensive coordinator Christian Parker, in the building. Sign, seal, deliver. What does that mean for the Cowboys as they move forward? And what do we expect from the 34-year-old first-time play caller? Well, Todd Archer of ESPN and Dallas Cowboys reporter for ESPN, he joined the Blitz earlier today to shed some light on who Christian Parker is and what he brings to the Dallas Cowboys.
Let's talk about the new DC with Todd Archer from ESPN joining us now on the Buyers Barricades guest line. It's such a different hire for Jerry Jones, so far out of the norm. Todd, can you kind of take us through the interview process, the 9 guys, and what they really liked about Parker?
Yeah, I mean, you can say this is tremendously out of the norm for the Cowboys and Jerry Jones. It's the first time they've not hired a former head coach as a defensive coordinator since 2013. The last guy that they hired that wasn't a head coach as a turned coordinator was Monty Kiffin in 2013. He was 73 years old. This guy's 34 years old. So the way it was explained to me is this guy just kind of bowled everybody over in the interview process, had great answers for what he thought of the Cowboys personnel, where they can get better, how they can improve. And he came from a system that obviously the Cowboys are familiar with, having played against Vic Fangio, but had high letters of recommendation, say, from guys like Fangio, from guys like Mike Patton and other guys across the league. And that's why, you sometimes think, man, kind of young to be a coordinator, never done it before. But he's a guy that everybody right now is speaking glowingly about for the rapid rise that he's made up the coaching ranks since getting into the NFL.
Todd, and it is such a rapid rise. And, I said earlier, the guy needs to rent in Dallas, not buy a place to live, because he's probably going to be a head coach soon. And if that happens, that means it truly is a home run hire for Jerry, because the defense will have been turned around. And maybe it doesn't work. I think most Cowboy fans are excited just because Jerry finally did something different. It really feels like this is more of a Brian Schottenheimer hire than a Jerry Jones hire. How much influence is Schotty going to get credit for this? How much did Brian have to sell Jerry on this is the guy?
Well, I kind of push back on the whole Jerry has done all these hires, and did Jerry allow this? Look, it wasn't like Brian Schottenheimer didn't want Matt Eberflus, because he's been and let's not use what we know now about what happened with the Eberflus defense. When the Cowboys hired Matt Eberflus, I don't remember anybody really saying, man, what are they doing? Terrible hire. Can't go get that guy. Yes, it didn't work for him in Chicago, but you look at his defenses when he was with the Colts, look what he did here with the personnel when he was with the Cowboys. He's a good, solid coach, and it didn't work for a variety of reasons, from blame him, blame the assistants, blame the scheme, blame the players, blame everybody, blame Jerry. So, the one thing, and maybe it's a distinction without difference when I say this, I don't think the Cowboys said to Shoddy, Matt Eberflus is your defensive coordinator. I think they said, we want you to talk to Matt Eberflus and see if he could be the guy. And as a first-time head coach, you're going to say, okay, my bosses want me to talk to this guy. I'm sure this is the guy they want me to get. Let me talk to him. And okay, I've competed against him. I know him. So, but back onto the Parker thing, it's a little bit like Clayton Adams to a degree, their offensive coordinator. I would say a month ago, Jerry Jones did not know who Christian Parker was. And I will say a month ago, I did not know who Christian Parker was, nor did 85 to 95% of Cowboys fans and your listeners right now know who Christian Parker was.
Maybe even higher.
So, right. So, but yes, this was a Schottenheimer-directed search when you can just look at the guys that they talked to throughout the process. And Jonathan Gannon was the guy that filled the mold of what they used to have, former head coach, former defensive coordinator. The way it was explained to me, he wasn't even the runner-up for the job. The runner-up was the Minnesota passing game coordinator, Durante Jones. So if Parker had got another job or went somewhere else, Jones would have been the guy. And then maybe you get on to Jim Leonard as well, but the Cowboys can't talk to him or nobody can talk to him until his season ends at this point. So they believe that they've found a young, up-and-coming coach that fills a lot of requirements for the NFL game today. And I'm trying to remember a defensive they've never had a defensive coordinator this young in my time of covering the Cowboys. And I think it's maybe the youngest coordinator period in team history.
I'm with you. And again, I didn't know who this guy was. That's one of the things that I think I like about it, because he is one of those rising stars that everybody talks glowingly about in the coaching circles. Those that know love this guy. And I think that has some fans excited. Plus, the work he should be able to do with the secondary outside of being a foot doctor. What can he do? What do you expect him to be able to do with this Cowboys secondary?
We'll start with getting a whole bunch of players in. And it's not just in the secondary, right? They need defense. They need pass rushers. They need linebackers. They need and secondary, and that's his expertise. And what's the thing that we always do, right? Like when a new coach comes in, we say, all right, which free agent did he coach? Oh, that's going to be the guys that they go after. And Zimmer had brought in Eric Kendricks from his time in Minnesota, was the quarterback of the Cowboys defense in 2024, actually played pretty well. Matt Eberflus did the same thing with Jack Sanborn. He got hurt, never really panned out for him. So, I went and looked up, okay, who are the Eagles defensive core or Eagles upcoming unrestricted free agents on defense? Well, the three guys that came to mind were Reed Blankenship, safety, linebacker Nakobe Dean, and defensive end Jalen Phillips. It's probably going to require the Cowboys to do something that they've not done in free agency in quite a while, and that's spend at or near the top of the market for these guys. But I would say if you got one of those guys, that helps your new defensive coordinator teach his scheme, and especially at Blankenship, teaching the back end, which he knows well, that you can kind of breathe easier at night knowing you got a guy back there who knows everything that the coordinator wants, and that would help going forward. So it's almost like the easy part of this thing was naming the coach. Now it's getting the guy some players. That's where Jerry, Steven, Will McClay, those guys have to do a great job in the draft, but they can't just do what they've done in free agency the last few years. They actually have to make legitimate additions. And I'm not saying go spend, a 6-year, $180 million deal on whoever to go get a guy. But I'm saying spend more than you've spent certainly in the last decade on free agents.
Absolutely. Todd Archer from ESPN joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. And as you were saying that, my first thought is, but will they actually go shop in free agency. And, this hire, almost like Clayton Adams last year, a little different than what they normally do. Maybe they will be more of a player in free agency because they understand the need. And quite frankly, I hope the urgency to win while Dak Prescott is on this current contract.
Right. And you hit it right there. And that's something that Jerry said. And it's always take Jerry's words with an abundance of caution. But he's talked about winning during Dak's time where he's healthy and playing at such a high level. So and he's talked about the great shape they're in cap-wise after the Micah Parsons not re-signing him and the players that they can add and the things that they can do. Well, okay, now go do it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's easy to just, try and trick everybody into thinking you're going to do something. But I think after 30 years, heck, it's probably after 5 years, if we're being honest, but people are tired of the same old stuff being told to them. And now I think you're hearing a frustration level that has been as high as I ever remember at my time covering this team, that it's time now. It's about the actions and not just the words for Jerry. And if he does have all this cap space available that they can make, he does have the ability to go get players through that with that cap space. They have the flexibility in the draft to go do some things. Okay, do it. Don't just talk about it. Actually go ahead and do it.
That was Todd Archer earlier today on the Blitz. And if you missed any of that interview, he joined via the Buyers Barricades guest line. They provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond online at buyersbarricades.com. And if you want to hear the full interview, just go to sasportstar.com and listen back via our audio vault. Todd Archer, always great. Fantastic having him on. Great insight when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. Paul says, okay, I'm a Rams fan, but I love sports. So I believe as long as Jerry Jones is at the lead of the Cowboys, they're going to go nowhere. He leads like old school. And now is not that. Just his opinion. Look, I see changes in the way he's done things over the last few years. This by far is a change. Brian Schottenheimer was a change in the way he had operated. Brian Schottenheimer bringing in Clayton Adams to be his offensive coordinator and a first-time one. I think all of those things are changes, whether it's Jerry, Steven, everybody convincing Jerry that this is the best way. However it's happening, and it's different, and different may actually lead to success this time around. This is Extra Innings with Pleasure. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 941 FM, sasportstar.com. Call your shot on the other side. Who's going to the Super Bowl after Sunday night? Your options are Patriots or Broncos or Seahawks or Rams. Go ahead and call your shot. We'll close out the week right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 941 FM, sasportstar.com. This is Extra Innings with Pleasure.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. If you're tired of pain slowing you down from a recent injury or something that's been nagging you for years, we can help. At Arasti, we've earned the trust of over 8,000 physicians by delivering fast, lasting pain relief without painkillers or surgery. Our hands-on approach targets the root cause of pain, and most patients see results in just one visit. No referral needed, and it's covered by most insurance plans. So don't wait. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti. We fix pain fast.
Meet Morgan Jones. Morgan is about to step into a world unknown to most, thanks to Progressive's Renters Insurance, a place of fresh linens and turn-down service. You see, Morgan temporarily vacated her apartment and has gone to a hotel because a pipe burst in her apartment. A pipe that made her sense of reality and apartment ceiling all come crashing down. Luckily, Morgan checked into Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-932-5858. That's 800-932-5858. 800-932-5858.
94.1. The NFL is on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pledger here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm James Pledger. You can catch me on Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff at I Am Pledger. You can catch the station at SA Sports Star, especially on our YouTube channel, where you can chime in as the show goes along, or feel free to call in 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Paul, active in the chat today, wants to know who the Spurs should target the deadline, and it feels like they'll be active. I don't know if they'll be active. I imagine they'll have multiple irons in the fire, if you will. I don't know if they pull the trigger on any of them because usually they're looking for deals. And to me, if something gets done, great. I would love to see them swing for a shooter from somewhere around the league. And, you know, we saw it with Reed Shepherd. You see it with Con Knippel right now. If you could add, and whether that's a Herb Jones or a Trey Murphy or some kind of 3, even a 4 maybe, stretches the floor, shoots it consistently at a high 36 and above % clip, that is something that this team actually lacks. And I think it's something that the Spurs should pursue and find a way. But if the deal isn't right, I also see them not pursuing anything and leaving it as status quo. Jeff McClanahan's saying, hey, Pledge, I'm going with LA and New England. They're the two are predicted before the playoffs. New England's got a huge breaks all the way throughout. Wouldn't be surprised to see Seattle, but I'm not sure if I can trust Arnold. As a matter of fact, Jeff, your line of thinking mimics mine exactly. I'm going out with LA and New England as well. I think New England's got a ton of huge breaks. They have capitalized all year long on said breaks, and they are playing well. It's not just the breaks. They're getting the breaks along with playing well. It's twofold. And you're right. I could easily see Seattle there, but I picked New England because I don't trust Sam Darnold. I've seen him play good for a very long stretch, a la last year. At some point, when the lights get bright and they are at their brightest, he turns into a pumpkin. and I'm just waiting for that Sam Darnold to show up in this postseason. Could it be Sunday, or does he erase the narrative and we all finally buy in going in to Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco? It's going to be very, very interesting to find out how this all plays out. Frank says Sohan and 2 picks for Zion. Oh, man. Can we also trade Lindy Waters and a couple of seconds for Giannis while we're at it? Look, let's make some realistic ones if we're going to do it, because for all intents and purposes, especially when you're talking to the Pelicans and especially when you're talking about Herb Jones and Trey Murphy, they seem to have very, very high price tags if they move on them at all. And I would not be I would not be surprised to see them say stagnant at the deadline. That's all I'm saying. This has been Extra Innings with Pleasure. Like Antonio says, don't forget to wrap those pipes out there. I want each and every one of y'all to be safe, and especially this weekend, call your loved ones, check on them. You never know what they're going through. They could be very, very cold this weekend or in grave danger. So just reach out, call your loved ones, check on them, tell you love them. You never know what it could do for them. And the simple, hey, how you doing, can change someone's life. This has been Extra Innings with Pleasure. Y'all have a very safe and happy weekend. We will see you again on Monday, right back here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
94.1.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like rugs. People say a rug would really bring the room together. And sure,